Hey everybody, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to Cinefessions, where we talk all things media. So today we are talking some more novelizations and media tie-in books. So the last time we talked about these, there were a few of them that I bought that were relatively expensive, all things considered, because they were like super rare or just hard to find. This time around, though, I do have a couple in here that I have been searching for a long time and just haven't come across. Fortunately, they were a lot cheaper. So that's what we're going to go through today. And I'll also mention I have a couple, I have like 3 that are not media tie-in, but I have no other books to share. So I figured I'd just stick them in this one. We'll start with those and then work over to our media tie-in books from there. So let's get into this, guys. If you have a quick second though, before we start, please hit that like button down below. That engagement really does help me out. But with that said, let's not waste any more time at all. Let's dive right in to my novelization and media tie-in book haul. All right, so I'll start off with the nonfiction book in the pile today, and this thing is large. It's a big one. This is Alternate Oscars, written by Danny Perry. So Perry is best known for his cult movies books. I think he has 3 of them that came out, and they basically talk about what he considers cult films. This one is kind of similar in that it goes against like the mainstream grain, where he talks about his alternate picks for Oscar winners in terms of Best Picture, Best Actress, and Best Actor. He starts at 1927 and goes all the way through to, it says here, present, but this book came out in like 92, so he picks up through the 1991 winner. And so I thought this was just interesting to get different picks. So like, for example, in, what year are we in here? 1956, Yul Brynner won Best Actor for The King and I, but he thinks that Laurence Olivier should have won it for Richard III. So he goes through and picks like those 3 for every single year through 1991. So I have like an idea to do some type of series out of this where I look at like, I don't know, I'll talk about it if I ever do it, but that's the reason I picked it up. I thought it was really cool, and it does have an old like special value Barnes & Noble sticker on it, so that was just fun too. But anyway, not in great shape. Got this one off of eBay, but it is what it is. It's a crapshoot, and it was really cheap, so I don't really care. But yeah, really cool, an interesting idea, so I thought I would give this one a look. This is Alternate Oscars by Danny Perry. These next 2 I'll show together because they're both middle grade, and I actually grabbed them both from the Dollar Tree yesterday. So my buddy actually sent me over a whole bunch of Creepers books last year at some point that he found at the Dollar Tree, and I just cannot remember which ones I own, and for some reason I didn't list them in my app, and I don't have any idea why. So I'm taking a gamble here. I might already own these. I actually have to go over to my boxes and check, but I don't know for sure. They don't look familiar. So this is Creepers, The Golden Goblet, and Creepers, Ghostwriter. Neither of these, oh yeah, they do. This is book 4 on the spine there, and book 5 on the spine. You can see them. So maybe I actually do own these now that I'm seeing what their spine numbers are, but I don't know. They don't look super familiar. So either way, I might have doubles. They were $1. Who really cares? But these are both written by Edgar J. Hyde, and these are reprints of a 90s middle grade horror series. So they are Goosebump knockoffs, which I absolutely love. So I thought these ones were really cool. Again, if I already own them, then I lost $2.50. Not the end of the world. I will just go ahead and trade them in. But if not, I have 2 more in the Creepers series, which makes me happy. So these 2 are going to be the last of the non-media tie-in books that I'm going to talk about today. Creepers, The Golden Goblet, and Ghostwriter by Edgar J. Hyde. I will stick with some middle grade here, and this time we'll go to the Star Wars universe. This is Star Wars Queen of the Empire and Star Wars Mission from Mount Yoda. So these are both written by Paul Davids and Hollis Davids. So this is book 4 and book 5. Believe it or not, just like the last 2. Book 4 and book 5 of this middle grade series. I happen to own books 1, 2, and 3, so I decided to continue on with the series. I actually grabbed both of these from Second and Charles, but they both have used Borders books stickers on the back, which I just think is super nostalgic, and I love that. So yeah, anytime I can add to my Star Wars series, as I've talked about in the past, I will always do that. These were super cheap at like $1.50 or something each, so I figured, yeah, let's add them to the collection and keep growing my Star Wars middle grade series. So we have Queen of the Empire and Mission from Mount Yoda. So these next two are both junior novelizations, and actually, technically, these are thrift store finds, but don't hate me. I figured I'd put them in this video instead of a thrift store haul just because it was thematic. So first up, we have Alvin and the Chipmunks Chipwrecked, and this one is written by, they always hide the author on these. This one is written by Perdita Finn, and then the cool one is Addams Family Values. This one is written by Ann Hodgman. So these are really cool to find from the thrift store. So again, 50 cents each. You can't beat it. This one in particular, I was super excited to pick up. Like a 90s, is this 90s? I think it's 90s, not early 2000s, right? But yeah, whenever you can find something like this at the thrift store, I'm all in. Yeah, 1993. So very cool to add both of these to the collection. Addams Family Value, junior novelization, along with Chipwrecked, the junior novel. All right, let's move over to the adult books now. And technically, I don't believe this is a novelization. Again, please correct me if I'm wrong down below, but I think that this is what the movie was adapted from. Either way, I thought I needed to have it. This is Vampires, written by John Stakely. And this is, of course, going to become John Carpenter's Vampires, which is a movie I watched I guess I watched it during my 13 days of Halloween vlog that I did last year. I watched Vampires for the first time, and not a great movie, but I thought it was interesting. It's just like it's a mean movie, I guess is the best way to describe it. And so I wanted to see what the book was, to see how it relates to the film. And I've heard it's just as mean, if not worse, than the movie itself. So I'm very intrigued to see if I like this one or not. Of course, it's a vampire story. That's pretty much all you need to know. If you're interested in vampires, you might be interested in this. I've not heard the best things about the book, but hey, why not pick it up? It was a good price, so I figured I would add it to my sort of semi-media tie-in collection, even though it's not really. I thought it was pretty cool. Vampires, written by John Stakely. Next up is actually a novelization of a TV show. This is Earth 2, written by Melissa Crandall. So I actually have the second book in this series, and then I was lucky enough to come across the first one at Second and Charles recently, so of course I had to pick it up. Now my thought is that this one is going to be based on like the pilot episode of Earth 2, and then the second book in the series is going to be based on a later episode, but I'm not 100% on that. That's just kind of me making an assumption, so I will eventually see. But yeah, this is a show that like I really want to check out just because it sounds really interesting to me, but I've never even like seen it available before, so I have no idea how to watch this. But I thought, yeah, absolutely pick up the novelization because why not? So yeah, excited I was able to find this one. This is Earth 2 by Melissa Crandall. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say there is one more in this series because I remember going to that Second and Charles to the other authors section to try to find it. Unfortunately, they only had the first two books, not the third one. So yeah, I'm excited. I definitely want to collect or complete this collection once I'm able to find that third book. Everything else from here on out is just straight up novelization. And this first one is really cool because of the author. This is The Wolfman, and the author is Jonathan Mayberry, which is a really well-known author. He's done a ton of different zombie books. He's very well known for like his Rotten Ruins series, which is I guess you'd call it a young adult zombie novel series. But yeah, I had to pick it up because it's Mayberry. Like, very intrigued to check this one out. Now, I actually like this movie well enough. This is, of course, like the Benicio del Toro remake of Wolfman, and I thought it was pretty good for what it is. Isn't Anthony Hopkins in this one as well, if I'm not mistaken? Yeah, he is. And so, yeah, I'm intrigued to see if this novelization is decent or not. So I thought it was cool because of the author, and I like the movie. This is The Wolfman by Jonathan Mayberry. This is so weird to me when things like this happen, but this is a novelization based on a movie that was adapted from a book or a short story. I don't know exactly. Maybe a novella. I don't know. But this is Johnny Mnemonic. And this is now a motion picture from TriStar based on the short story and screenplay by William Gibson. So I guess Gibson wrote both the original story and then adapted that into the film. And then along comes Terry Bisson to then turn it into a full-length novel. That is fascinating to me. I love when things like that happen. It just feels like an Inception event there. And so I thought that's super cool. That cover, you can't beat it with Keanu on the front there. I have to check this out. The short story became a full-length novel after becoming a screenplay. I'm all in. I have to check this one out. This is so cool. Johnny Mnemonic, written by Terry Bisson or Bison. I'm not sure how to say that. Here's another really cool one I just needed for the collection. I have 1 and 3, but I didn't have Iron Man 2. And this one is a novel by Alexander Irvine. So I don't love Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3, which I think pretty much everyone agrees with. Of course, Iron Man 2 is better than the third one. But again, I have all the other two now in novelization form, so of course I needed to pick up the second one. I love finding novels like this, and so this was just a perfect ad for my collection. Iron Man 2 by Alexander Irvine. This next one is, without a doubt, like the coolest find for me of the day. I have been looking for this novel for so long now because it's one of the only, I think I need one more now to complete my Resident Evil novelization collection. This is Resident Evil Extinction, and this one is written by Keith R.A. DeCandido. So you guys might remember I actually found Resident Evil Genesis, which was the novelization for the original film, in the last novelization haul I did, but this was one of 2 that I needed. I think it's the last chapter is the last one I need in order to have all of the Resident Evil books that have a novelization for them. So I was so excited to come across this. I was like floored. I had to do a double take when I first saw it because I just didn't think it was real. Finally, after searching for years to find this one, there it was. So happy. Resident Evil Extinction. Only one more to go now, and hopefully I'll get to show that in another haul here coming up soon, but we shall see. So, Resident Evil Extinction by Keith R.A. DeCandido. Last but not least is the other one that did cost a little bit more, but it was marked at like $12 and it rang up for like $7. So I don't know why that was the case, but I'll take it. Metal Gear Solid, written by Raymond Benson. So, this is one that my buddy actually found from the thrift store a couple years ago, and then he ended up finding the sequel also from the thrift store not too long ago. And when I came across this at my local Second and Charles, I got so excited because I definitely wanted it. Now, if he didn't own it already, he would have sent it my way, but unfortunately he didn't have it, and he's a big Metal Gear Solid fan, so of course he held on to it. But this is exactly what it sounds like. This is a novelization of the original video game, and apparently everything is there. Even if it's a little bit goofy to read sometimes, it's still there. And that's what I've read about this, is that it's not really that great of a novelization, but that's okay. It's just a cool piece for my novelization collection, which, don't take a shot every time I say the word novelization in this video because you would be dead by the end of it. But anyway, super excited to add this one to the collection as well. Metal Gear Solid is a game that I've started like so many times, especially when I was a kid, but I never ended up playing all the way through it. So even if I don't play the game, I can now read the book, and then hopefully that will suffice. So very excited to add Metal Gear Solid by Raymond Benson to the collection, and that is going to wrap up all of the media tie-in books that I found recently. All right, so yeah, another big stack of really cool books, at least in my opinion, for the collection. You guys know, if you've been watching the channel, media tie-in, novelizations, and 90s middle grade horror, it's my kryptonite. Like, I can't walk by it. I can't pass it up. I have to have it in my collection. And so whenever I see it, I'm always snagging it, and I love it. I cannot wait. My buddy actually has a box that he's putting together for me that he's going to send my way that does have some books along these lines in it. And so super excited to get that in, and I will definitely share it with you guys once I do. But yeah, really excited to add these to the collection. But I want to hear from you guys down below. Do you recommend anything from this stack that you've read? And more importantly, do you guys have a specific media tie-in or novelization that you have read in the past that you would recommend to me? Because I need a list, and when I'm going out shopping, I want a list of ones to find. So let me know your recs down below. I always appreciate that so much, so thanks so much. But with that said, guys, if you enjoyed this one, please hit that like button down below. That engagement really does help me out. And like I always say, I don't just talk books, I talk all things media. Books, movies, video games, graphic novels, manga. If it's media related, I'm interested in it, and if you are too, you might consider subscribing. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for today. I just want to say thank you all so much for watching, and I want to encourage you to consume some media today. I'll catch you next time.